Okay, so today I have a game of Team SWAT on Halo Reach. I am not going to do a topic of the day in this video because I did not get any responses to my last one, and I thought that I didn't know exactly what kind of topic to do for this one because I didn't have a good topic in mind to go with a SWAT. Not it necessarily has to go with the game, but so what I've determined I'm going to do is for my next couple of Halo videos, as they all should hopefully be different game types or different situations within a game type, such as like multi-team or 4v4. I've determined that what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the playlist itself and what I think should be done to improve it. And as this is SWAT, I'm not sure if this was before or after SWAT got its own playlist. I assume after, because I was playing SWAT so much when it got its own playlist, because it like almost never showed up in Team Slayer for me. So I'm glad it got its own playlist. But my problems with its playlist are the fact that they took Team SWAT out of a few playlists where I really thought it belonged and fit rather nicely, such as multi-team and Rumble Bit, because of the fact that it wasn't overpowering, but it was maybe I didn't really like playing 4v4 SWAT, and I still don't really like it. I like the concept of playing it like me and a friend, 2 versus, I guess it would be like 10, but it's like super action packed. That fact of the matter that it's 2v10. And as far as what I think they should do is they should add it back to those playlists, but also I need to warn everybody that this is personal opinions and what I think they need to do. I don't want anybody getting mad, or it's fine to disagree with me and say so. Comment as you wish. I have it on free commenting, but I also want to say that I do have the power to block you, and I'm willing to use that power if it gets out of hand, or I will just disable commenting for this video. I hate to have to do that, but I know that when somebody shares their advice, it can get way out of hand with disagreeing, and you can create a internet war, and that is not the goal with this video by any means. The goal is just to share what I think that needs to be done with the SWAT playlist, since nothing new seems to have really changed other than they took it out of Rumble Pit and multi-team, which I really think they need to add it back to there. You don't need to add it back to Team Slayer, because obviously this is Team Slayer of SWAT. I'm not going to describe how SWAT's played by any means, because hopefully if you're watching this you know how SWAT is, and your goal is to always get a headshot, and it's more about accuracy versus spamming your gun. But back to the original ideas of what they need to do with SWAT, I really think that the first thing they need to do is completely disable meleeing, because all it takes is one good melee and the dude is gone. Okay, you can keep assassinations. I'm fine with that, because assassinations take some skill to get, but remove overall melees. And that was my third triple kill of the game, in case anyone wasn't counting. But remove all melees, beatdowns, or make it so that it takes a lot of beatdowns to kill, so that you can't just get people coming into Team SWAT running around and beating you down. And another thing is, I think they really need to remove the magnums, unless you're in SWAT magnums specifically, because there's just been too many people that that only will run around with magnums, since they aren't very good with the DMR, or they aren't very accurate with it, or whatever the reasoning. So completely remove the magnums, and I mean, of course, you need teams that are willing to dock, and hopefully teams don't quit. So I hope that they make it less games of quitting that gets you that penalty, because I've quit 2 times in a row before and not gotten it, and I really think that needs to be shortened. Although I haven't played Halo in a while, so I don't know if they have shortened it yet, and so I don't know about that. Maybe you guys can comment about it, those that are still playing Halo, since Black Ops is out now. And then the last thing, they need to remove meleeing, they need to remove the Magnum, and the last thing is something that I do really badly in this video, because this was an early SWAT game for me, and so that was the only way I could get kills, and I wasn't used to stuff like how to control the DMR that much. I tried kind of not to do it, but for the long range shots I really felt like I had to scope in. But I really think what they need to do is to obviously add an anti-camping thing, because that's annoying in every single playlist of almost every single first-person shooter game, unless it's like a modded lobby or whatever where they add a camper thingy to it where you can't camp in the same spot for more than X amount of time, and most of them make it so that you can't move one step and then stop the camping thing countdown. But what I'm really getting at here is I really think they need to do something about the scoping in SWAT. In any playlist, as long as it's SWAT, they really need to do something about the scoping, so that you can't have someone just sitting in the back with a long sideline and just staying in their scope the whole time. And since you don't have to steady your scopes or any sort of thing like that, it needs to be so that when you're in your scope, you only have a certain amount of time before maybe it'll waggle out, or maybe it'll force you out of it. I don't exactly know, because I haven't really thought about it much, but I really think that they need to do something about the scoping, so that you can't just scope in and stay scoped camping in the back the whole game and go like 30-0 or some crazy thing like that. My personal thought was like a debuff, so that if you get scoped, if you stay in your scope for let's say like a minute, then it pops out of your scope and you have to stay unscoped for X amount of time in order to use the scope. It debuffs you, pops you out, and then you have to you can't access it for like a minute. That was my original thought, and then I ended up with 20 kills in this video. So please feel free to comment, approve or disapprove, but don't start a flame war